what if your body isn't broken? It's just been getting the wrong signals. So many of us think that stubborn belly fat means we've failed, or that our metabolism is permanently damaged. But what if the problem isn't a you? It's the messages your body's been receiving. See, your body runs on signals. Every bite you eat, every hour you sleep, every moment of stress. These are all tiny instructions telling your body what to do with energy. And one of the most powerful of these signals is insulin. Insulin's job is to help move sugar out of your blood and into your cells. But when this system gets out of balance, when insulin is always high, your body gets stuck in storage mode. That means instead of burning fat, it's holding on to it, especially the deep visceral fat around your belly. Now, a lot of people try keto or fasting to fix this. And yes, they can work for a while. You might drop weight quickly, but then it creeps back. Because these methods often miss the root cause, insulin resistance. When your cells stop responding well to insulin, your body keeps producing more of it. And that keeps you locked in fat, storage mode, no matter how little you eat. The exciting thing is that there's a way to turn this around without extreme diets or starving yourself. When you make small, intentional shifts, like adjusting when you eat, how you pair certain nutrients, or aligning your meals with your body's natural rhythm, you can restore insulin sensitivity and flip the switch back to fat burning mode. So I'm curious, have you tried keto or fasting before? Did it help long term, or did the weight return once you stopped? I'd love to hear your experience in the comments. Most people think losing fat is all about willpower, eat less, move more, and the weight should fall off, right? But what if that's not the full story? What if your body isn't ignoring your effort? It's actually protecting you from what it thinks is a threat. Let's look at insulin, a hormone that's often misunderstood. Insulin's main job is to act like a key. When you eat especially carbohydrates or sugar, your blood glucose rises. Insulin's role is to take that glucose and unlock your cells, allowing the sugar to move inside so your body can use it for energy. It's an elegant system until it gets overworked. Imagine a friend who keeps calling you every few minutes. At first, you pick up right away. But if they call 50 times a day, eventually you stop answering. That's kind of what happens with insulin. When your insulin levels are constantly elevated from snacking all day, high stress levels, lack of sleep, or a diet full of processed carbs, your cells stop answering the call. They become insulin resistant. When that happens, sugar can't get into your cells as easily, and your body thinks there's an energy shortage, even though there's plenty of energy stored in your fat. In response, your pancreas pumps out even more insulin to try to fix the problem. But here's the catch: insulin is also your fat storage hormone. It tells your body, store energy, don't burn it. So as insulin levels climb higher and higher, your body gets stuck in storage mode. The fat stays locked inside your fat cells, and your body loses access to its own fuel source. This is why you can feel exhausted, hungry, and frustrated, even when you're dieting. It's not that your metabolism is broken, it's that it's being blocked. Picture your fat cells as tiny locked pantries full of food. The key that used to open them, insulin, doesn't work the same anymore. So your body thinks it's starving even while it's surrounded by stored energy. You crave carbs, your mood dips, and your energy crashes, all because your body can't tap into its own fat for fuel. Now, this is where most diets miss the mark. Traditional calorie cutting approaches try to force your body to burn fat by creating a deficit. Eat less, exercise more. But when insulin is high, it doesn't matter how few calories you eat. Your body won't access the fat. It's like trying to drive with the parking brake on. You might move a little, but it's exhausting, and eventually you stop. Even fasting, which lowers insulin temporarily, can backfire if your baseline insulin is still high. You might lose some water weight or even a bit of fat at first, but the moment you start eating again, those insulin spikes return and your body goes right back to storage mode. That's why so many people regain the weight, not because they lack discipline, but because their hormones are sending mixed signals. Here's the fascinating part. The real key to unlocking fat loss isn't about cutting calories. It's about lowering insulin. When insulin drops, your body can finally shift gears from storing energy to burning it. Suddenly, those locked fat cells open up, releasing energy for your body to use. Hunger stabilizes, energy rises, and fat loss happens naturally, not because you're fighting your body, but because you're finally working with it. Think of insulin as the switch between two modes, storage mode and burning mode. Most of us are stuck in storage mode 24/7 because modern life constantly triggers insulin. Every snack, every sugary drink, even stress itself, they all keep the switch flipped the wrong way. But when you learn how to gently lower insulin, through timing, food combinations, and lifestyle rhythm, you can flip that switch back. And when you do, something amazing happens. Your body starts burning fat again, not because it's desperate, but because it's finally free to. And that's the turning point for most people. Once you understand that insulin resistance, not lack of willpower, is the real villain, everything changes. You start to see that the path to lasting fat loss isn't about deprivation or pushing harder, it's about restoring balance to your hormones. When insulin calms down, your body remembers what it's designed to do: heal, balance, and burn fat naturally. Keto and fasting have become the go-to solutions for anyone trying to lose weight quickly. And to be fair, they do work, at least for a while. When you cut carbs or go long stretches without food, your insulin levels drop and your body starts burning fat for energy. That's why the first few weeks on keto or intermittent fasting can feel amazing. You see the scale move, your appetite decreases, and your energy might even feel more stable. But here's the truth that often gets left out. These methods only work temporarily if your underlying insulin balance hasn't been restored. Think of it like trying to hold your breath underwater. You can do it for a while, but eventually your body fights back. When you go too low carb for too long or push your fasting windows to extremes, your body perceives that as stress. And when your body feels stressed, it releases cortisol, your survival hormone. Cortisol tells your body, we might be in danger, hold on to energy. And what's the best way your body knows to store energy? By raising insulin. So even though keto or fasting may start by lowering insulin, the stress response can actually raise it again over time. This is why many people see early results only to hit a wall, or worse, start regaining weight. It's not because the diet suddenly stopped working, it's because their hormones adapted. The body is always trying to protect you, and when it senses deprivation, it slows down your metabolism to conserve energy. Let's look at keto first. In the beginning, cutting carbs helps reduce insulin spikes, and you start burning fat for fuel. But your body also needs a certain amount of glucose to function, especially your brain. When it doesn't get enough, your adrenal glands have to pick up the slack by producing cortisol to convert protein into glucose. That's called gluconeogenesis. Over time, this can raise cortisol levels, disrupt sleep, and make you feel anxious, tired, or wired at night. And if cortisol stays high, it tells your body to store more fat, particularly around the belly. Ironically, the very thing keto was supposed to fix. Fasting can have a similar effect. Short-term fasting can reset insulin sensitivity and give your digestive system a break. But when fasting becomes too long or too frequent, your body starts to feel like it's in famine mode. You might lose fat at first, but as cortisol rises, your thyroid can slow down, muscle mass decreases, and your metabolism drops. That's why many people who fast aggressively find themselves gaining weight again the moment they eat normally, because their body's energy burn has slowed to a crawl. What's fascinating is that both keto and fasting are built on the right idea. They both lower insulin temporarily. But without rebuilding of healthy insulin rhythm, the body can't sustain the results. It's like trying to fix a broken clock by stopping it altogether instead of resetting its timing. The problem isn't the tools, it's that they're used without addressing the root cause hormonal balance. When insulin levels are chronically high, no diet will truly work long term. But when you gently teach your body to respond to insulin again, to rise when you eat and fall when you rest, everything changes. You can eat a balanced diet, include healthy carbs, and still burn fat efficiently because your metabolism is flexible again. That's what we call metabolic flexibility. Your body's ability to switch between burning sugar and fat with ease. So instead of extreme restriction, the goal becomes restoration. Restoring the natural rhythm between insulin and other hormones like cortisol, ghrelin, and leptin. When this rhythm is in sync, you don't need to starve yourself. You don't have to fear carbs or dread meal times. Your body naturally shifts between storing and burning energy throughout the day, exactly how it's meant to. And here's where the magic happens. When you optimize insulin balance, every other fat loss strategy works better. Keto becomes less stressful. Fasting feels easier. Exercise becomes more effective because your cells can actually access stored energy. You stop feeling like you're fighting your body, and instead, you start working with it. So the missing piece isn't the diet, it's the hormone rhythm behind it. Once that rhythm is restored, you can enjoy food, sustain energy all day, and lose fat naturally without the burnout, rebound, or stress that so often comes with extreme dieting. It's not about eating less, it's about eating smarter, in tune with the natural signals your body has known all along. Here's something surprising: you don't need a massive overhaul to restart fat loss. The truth is, your metabolism isn't broken, it's just mistimed. A few small, consistent shifts can signal your body to start burning fat again. And the most powerful one is restoring insulin sensitivity through everyday rhythm. Think of your metabolism like a light switch. When insulin is high all the time, that switch gets stuck in the off position for fat burning. But when insulin drops naturally between meals, when you give it space to rise and fall as it should, you flip that switch back on. That's when your body remembers how to access stored fat for fuel. Now, the key to this switch lies in how and when you eat, not just what you eat. Let's start with one of the simplest, yet most effective changes: eating protein before carbs. When you eat carbs first, especially refined ones, your blood sugar spikes and insulin follows. But if you eat a bit of protein or healthy fat first, your digestion slows down, glucose enters your bloodstream more gradually, and insulin doesn't surge as much. Several studies show that something as simple as eating your chicken or eggs before your rice or fruit can cut your blood sugar spike by 30–40%. Over time, this teaches your cells to respond to insulin more efficiently, like fine-tuning a radio signal that had been full of static. The next shift is spacing your meals properly. Many people graze all day. A handful of snacks here, a light there, and never give their insulin levels a chance to drop. Every bite you take sends a new insulin signal, even if it's small. When these signals come too frequently, your body never switches into fat burning mode. By spacing your meals at least 3 to 4 hours apart and avoiding late night snacking, you allow insulin to fall, giving your body permission to start burning fat again. It's like letting the tide go out so your body can finally collect the treasures left behind. Timing also plays a huge role, not just in hours between meals, but in syncing eating with your circadian rhythm. Your body's internal clock governs almost every hormone, including insulin. In the morning, your metabolism is more active, your cells are more insulin sensitive, and your body is primed to use food for energy. But as the day goes on, insulin sensitivity declines. That means eating late at night, especially carb-heavy meals, leads to higher insulin spikes and more fat storage. By simply aligning your eating window with daylight, eating most of your calories earlier, and finishing dinner a few hours before bed, you naturally drop insulin and improve metabolic rhythm. Think of it like dancing with your biology instead of stepping on its toes. When you eat in sync with your body's natural rhythm, everything feels easier, energy stabilizes, hunger decreases, and fat burning accelerates. You don't have to push, your body starts working with you. Science backs this up. Research from the University of Alabama showed that people who ate all their meals within an 8-hour window earlier in the day, say between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m., had significantly lower insulin levels, improved fat oxidation, and better appetite control compared to those eating the same number of calories later. They weren't eating less, they were just eating smarter in harmony with their body's timing. And this is what the Fade1 insulin hack is really about. Not another diet, but a daily rhythm reset. Each small action, eating protein before carbs, allowing insulin breaks between meals, and syncing your eating with daylight, sends your body the message, you're safe, you can burn fat now. Over time, these subtle signals retrain your metabolism to become flexible again. Your cells start responding to insulin efficiently, fat storage decreases, and energy becomes stable instead of spiking and crashing. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't rely on extremes. You're not starving, cutting out entire food groups, or punishing yourself with rigid rules. You're simply learning to communicate with your body's natural design. And once that communication is restored, fat loss stops feeling like a battle. It becomes the effortless byproduct of a balanced system, one where insulin rises and falls in healthy waves, where your body switches gracefully between storing and burning fuel, and where deep visceral fat, the kind that once felt impossible to lose, finally begins to melt away. When you make these tiny but powerful changes daily, it's like flipping that fat burning switch back on, one meal at a time. You're not forcing your body to burn fat, you're reminding it how there's a kind of fat that hides deep inside your body, one you can't pinch or see in the mirror. but it's the most dangerous of all. It's called visceral fat, and unlike the soft fat that sits under your skin, this one wraps around your organs like a thick, invisible blanket. It cushions your liver, pancreas, and intestines, but when it grows too much, it starts to choke them. Imagine your organs trying to breathe while wrapped in layers of bubble wrap. They can't move or function freely. That's what visceral fat does. Visceral fat is metabolically active, which means it doesn't just sit there. It acts like an organ of its own. It sends out chemical signals and inflammatory messengers that disrupt everything from your hormones to your mood. It raises cortisol, drives cravings, increases blood sugar, and makes your cells even more resistant to insulin. Over time, it becomes a self-feeding loop. High insulin creates more visceral fat, and more visceral fat makes you even more insulin resistant. If you've ever wondered why some people can diet hard and still have a stubborn belly, this is why. Visceral fat doesn't respond well to calorie restriction. When you cut calories or carbs too aggressively, your body goes into defense mode. It clings to visceral fat because that fat is its emergency reserve, the fuel it keeps for survival. Your body doesn't know you're trying to fit into smaller jeans. It thinks you're facing a famine. So even when the scale drops, the deep internal fat often remains. You might not see it, but your body feels it. Visceral fat sits close to your liver, where it releases fatty acids directly into your bloodstream. This floods your system with triglycerides, raises LDL cholesterol, and creates a constant trickle of inflammation. That's why people with excess visceral fat often experience brain fog, fatigue, joint pain, or even anxiety, because inflammation affects not just the body, but the brain. Scientists now call visceral fat an endocrine organ because it actively secretes hormones that throw your entire system off balance. Here's a simple way to visualize what's happening inside. Imagine your body as a house. Subcutaneous fat, the fat under your skin, is like insulation on the outside walls. It can grow or shrink without much trouble. But visceral fat is like a fire in the basement. You might not see it right away, but it's quietly damaging the structure from within. It heats up everything, your liver, your pancreas, your hormones, until the entire system is under stress. And here's the tricky part. Traditional diets don't reach that basement fire. Cutting calories, skipping meals, or over-exercising can make the flames flicker for a moment, but as long as insulin remains high, that fire keeps burning. Insulin tells your body to hold on to visceral fat because it's designed to store energy close to your most vital organs. That's why the only reliable way to shrink visceral fat isn't through starvation or intensity. It's through hormonal calm. When you restore insulin balance, your body finally gets the message that it's safe to release that deep fat. When insulin levels drop steadily, your body starts drawing energy from its internal stores again. Visceral fat cells begin to shrink, releasing their trapped fatty acids to be used as fuel. The liver, freed from constant pressure, begins to detoxify more effectively. Inflammation cools down. You might notice clearer thinking, steadier moods, or better sleep, all signs that your body's internal fire is fading. One of the most motivating things about this process is that the change happens from the inside out. You might not see dramatic visual results right away, but deep down, your body is healing. Blood sugar stabilizes, cravings quiet down, and your energy becomes more consistent. Over time, that invisible shift becomes visible, your waistline tightens, your belly flattens, and you start feeling lighter in every sense. This is why lowering insulin naturally, not just cutting calories, is so powerful. It doesn't just burn fat, it transforms the internal environment that allowed that fat to build up in the first place. Your metabolism becomes more flexible, inflammation subsides, and your hormones finally work in harmony. The body that once held onto energy out of fear begins to trust again, and when that happens, visceral fat has no reason to stay. So the goal isn't to fight your body into submission, it's to calm it, to restore communication between your hormones and your metabolism. When you do that, the same body that once stored fat out of self-protection begins to release it out of safety. That's the quiet, powerful magic of healing from the inside, and it's how you truly melt the fat you can't see. You don't have to change everything at once. The truth is, your body responds better to rhythm than to extremes. When you create small, predictable patterns, when you eat, move, and rest in sync, your hormones begin to stabilize naturally. Think of this as a gentle reset, not a strict plan. You're teaching your body to trust again. Start with meal timing. Your first meal sets the tone for your insulin rhythm. Try to eat within 1 to 2 hours of waking, when your body's metabolism is most responsive. This helps align your eating pattern with your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that governs hormones like cortisol and insulin. Focus on balance, include protein, healthy fats, and fiber in your first meal. Protein helps keep blood sugar steady and signals satiety hormones, reducing cravings later in the day. Spacing your meals is just as important as what's on your plate. Instead of grazing, allow 3 to 4 hours between meals to let insulin drop. These insulin rest periods are when your body switches from storing to burning energy. If you tend to snack out of habit, start by delaying it. Even 30 minutes creates space for progress. Over time, your hunger cues will reset, and you'll feel full longer after meals. Meal composition matters too. A simple rule: eat protein and fiber before carbohydrates. This slows glucose absorption, keeping insulin from spiking too high. For example, if you're having rice or fruit, start with chicken, eggs, or a small salad first. You'll still enjoy the food you love, but your body will process it more smoothly. Think of it like lowering the volume on insulin's signal. It still works, just more efficiently. Now, layer in gentle movement. After meals, a 10-15 minute walk can make a huge difference. Muscles act like sponges for glucose. When you move, they soak up sugar without needing as much insulin. It doesn't have to be intense. A stroll after lunch or light housework after dinner can lower post-meal blood sugar by up to 30%. Over time, these small bursts of activity train your body to burn energy consistently throughout the day. Sleep is another overlooked piece of the insulin puzzle. When you don't sleep enough, cortisol rises, insulin sensitivity drops, and cravings for sugar increase. Try keeping a consistent sleep schedule, even on weekends. Dim lights in the evening and expose yourself to natural light in the morning. This simple light management strengthens your circadian rhythm, which helps regulate insulin automatically. Stress management is equally powerful. High stress means high cortisol, and cortisol pushes insulin higher. You don't have to meditate for an hour a day. Just pause for slow, deep breaths between tasks, or take short breaks outside. Your nervous system doesn't need perfection, it needs repetition. Calming signals sent often throughout the day are more effective than one big attempt at relaxation. As you practice these habits, your body begins to shift subtly. Energy levels become steadier, hunger decreases, and you start feeling satisfied with less food. You'll notice you don't crash mid-afternoon, and your evening cravings quiet down. These are signs that your insulin is stabilizing and your cells are regaining sensitivity. The beauty of this process is that it's sustainable because it fits into real life. You don't have to give up your favorite meals or follow rigid eating windows. You're simply building consistency, eating at regular times, creating calm between meals, moving gently, resting deeply. It's less about perfection and more about predictability. If you ever feel overwhelmed, remember that your body doesn't need you to fix everything. It just needs you to send the right signals consistently. When insulin starts to move in a healthy rhythm, your body naturally finds its balance again. The fat that once felt stuck begins to release. Energy starts flowing instead of being stored. And it all begins with these small daily patterns. The quiet moments where your choices teach your hormones that it's safe to burn, not store. When insulin finally finds its balance, something remarkable begins to happen inside you, not just on the scale, but in every system of your body. The constant push and pull between hunger and fatigue starts to fade. Your energy no longer crashes mid-afternoon, your mood feels more even, and your sleep deepens in a way you might not have felt for years. This isn't magic, it's what your body was designed to do when it's no longer being flooded by mixed hormonal messages. When insulin levels stabilize, your body reclaims its natural rhythm. Instead of bouncing between sugar highs and crashes, your blood sugar becomes steady, and with it, your mind clears. You think sharper, focus longer, and feel calmer. It's not just physical, it's emotional. Stable insulin lowers inflammation in the brain, helping neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine find their balance too. You start feeling more grounded, less anxious, more in control. It's as if your brain and body start speaking the same language again. Cravings, once loud and demanding, begin to quiet. When your cells can actually receive energy efficiently, you stop seeking it through constant snacking or sugar fixes. Your hunger cues shift from emotional to biological. You eat because your body truly needs nourishment, not because it's stuck in a cycle of spikes and dips. This is one of the clearest signs that your metabolism is healing, when food no longer controls you, but instead becomes a tool to support your energy and mood. Sleep also transforms under balanced insulin. High evening insulin and cortisol make it hard to fall asleep or stay asleep. But when your hormones settle into their natural rhythm, your body produces more melatonin at night, helping you drift into deeper, restorative sleep. You wake up refreshed, not groggy. And this better sleep reinforces the cycle. Good rest improves insulin sensitivity, and stable insulin improves rest. It becomes a self-sustaining loop of healing instead of depletion. Over time, this new hormonal balance doesn't just help you lose weight. It helps you keep it off without constant struggle. Your metabolism becomes flexible again, switching easily between burning carbs and fat depending on what you eat and how you move. This is true metabolic health, the ability to adapt, to respond, and to stay in balance. You're no longer at war with your body, you're in partnership with it. Even deeper changes begin to take place. Inflammation calms down, the liver clears toxins more efficiently, and the gut microbiome starts to rebalance. These shifts ripple outward. Your skin clears, your immune system strengthens, and your body starts aging more gracefully. Every organ benefits from the steady, rhythmic energy that comes from balanced insulin. It's like turning the lights back on in every room of your house after years of flickering bulbs. And this is what true healing looks like, not quick fixes or rigid diets, but a quiet transformation that grows stronger over time. You stop needing extreme measures because your body now remembers how to take care of itself. The rhythm you've built. Consistent meals, balanced nutrients, mindful movement, good rest becomes your new normal. You start to trust your body again, and your body begins to trust you. There will still be days when things feel off, when stress or poor sleep throws you out of sync. But the difference now is that you'll know what to do. You'll recognize the signals, listen to what your body's asking for, and guide it back with gentle consistency. Healing isn't about perfection, it's about connection. Your body has never been your enemy. It's been doing its best to protect you with the information it had. When insulin was high, it stored energy because it thought it was keeping you safe. When hunger surged, it wasn't betraying you. It was asking for balance. And now, as you begin to restore that balance, you'll start to see your body for what it truly is: intelligent, adaptable, and designed to heal. So take this process one day at a time. You don't need to rush, and you don't need to do it perfectly. Every meal, every breath, every night of better sleep sends a message of safety. Over time, those messages reprogram your metabolism, calm your nervous system, and reignite your natural fat-burning rhythm. Your body isn't fighting you. It's waiting for the right signals to heal. And when you give it those signals with patience and compassion, it always responds.